And I asked them all on the Democrat side, I asked them all the same question. Purposefully. And I asked this to RFK too. When does the left go too far? Because obviously the left can go too far. And none of them would answer. And so,
really?
Not one. Dead serious.
In private?
In private as well.
Come on.
No, I'm telling you the truth. And
I know some people who would answer that.
Well, look, it's also, I stopped doing a fair bit of that about a year and a half ago. And things have changed. There are more people on the moderate Democrat side who are willing to draw a line with regard to the radical leftists, but they're still not very good at defining it. So they'd reverse the question and ask me, like, when do you think they go too far? And I thought that was simple. It's like equality of outcome. And the universal response to that was always the same. Oh, they don't really mean that.
Emotions ran high during the heated exchange between Jordan Peterson and Bill Maher, but Peterson triumphed as Maher offered one of his most candid indictments of modern social problems to date. As Maher became increasingly furious, Peterson remained calm, cool, collected, and razor-sharp, utilizing facts and reasoning to contradict Maher's emotionally charged claims. Even though he was plainly agitated, Peterson stayed composed and gave sharp rebuttals that broke through the tension. The conversation became a gem in intellectual clarity due to his typical accuracy and simple approach. Maher missed a solid shot, but Peterson stayed focused and wouldn't let intense emotions get out of control. Watching this battle is encouraged for everyone who enjoys great minds regulating turbulence in a calm way. Jordan Peterson proves to be more than merely a commentator. He is a fervent opponent of words that are instantly harmful.
I believe in that too. Equity is what they changed it to, a lot of people on the far left, and, Biden went along with all of it. Means, no, some people started out not from the same place, so we should make an effort to redress that. I believe in some of that theoretically, and some of it in how you would put it into practice. You can't just say, okay, let's, some people weren't even at the starting gate for the first 350 years, and now go. Of course, there's going to be remedial, I think, things that we can do, and we're doing many of them. We're doing some of them anyway. But do I think it means we should, make it that medical school is not something that you can only get into completely by merit? No, because no one wants a doctor who got there by affirmative action.
Yes.
Right, but you would count what I said to be valid, right? That you can't say if you started 300 years late, we expect you to be.
I guess this is one of the things that probably tilts me in the more conservative direction, and partly as a social scientist, is that well-meaning interventions seldom.
It's apparent from the beginning that Bill Maher is thrown off guard by Jordan Peterson's snappy and perceptive arguments. He forces Maher to back up his points. With every answer, Peterson is obviously ahead in the momentum, but it remains to be seen if Maher can recover and reverse the trend. Maher struggles to keep up. But it's clear that he's trailing behind in this early round, as Peterson, an internationally recognized psychologist, author, and cultural critic, brings his customary zeal and clarity to the issue.
Distribution of, say, even of opportunity is that everyone is treated the same under the law, regardless of anything, regardless of wealth, regardless of race,
right,
age, status. It's the same. Now, obviously, there's elements of that appear unjust. So if you make $1 million a year and you get $1,000 fine for speeding, that's a lot different than $1,000 fine for someone who makes $12,000 a year. And so then you might say, well, maybe your fine should be income adjusted. Okay, but the problem with that is okay, you're differentially privileged with regards to your wealth. Well, how many dimensions of differential privilege are there? And the answer to that is, well, there's as many dimensions as there are differences between people. And that's an infinite number of differential advantages and disadvantages. And so I'll give you an example that I think is quite germane. So there's obviously disparity in wealth. Well, one of the best predictors of wealth is age. Older people are richer. Well, why? Well, obviously because they've had their whole life to work.
Race.
So Yeah.
Even more.
Okay, but let me make the case with this for a minute. Okay, so then you might say, well, it's very unfair that the old people have the money. It's like, yeah, fair enough, buddy. But the young people have the youth. And if I'm serious,
so
and if you took the old person and said, look, you give me all your money, I'm 18, you give me all your money, and I'll be 65, and you get to be 18 and broke.
But would you actually take that bargain? Because I wouldn't. Even though I'm punching 70 in the mouth, I still wouldn't do it, because my head would still be my 18-year-old head, and I just couldn't take any more of that. Your stupidity, or at least my stupidity at that age.
I'll offer you an example that I feel is actually accurate, as there are numerous factors with benefits and downsides. Age is thus one of the main indicators of wealth, given that they have worked their entire lives. Older individuals are plainly wealthier. But why, if I'm being serious, however, if you snatch the elderly man and said, look, you give me all your money, I'm 18, then surely much more, since they got their entire lives to work. If you give me all of your money, I'll be 65 and you'll be broke at 18. Would you honestly accept that offer? Even if I'm punching 70 in the mouth, I wouldn't, because I simply couldn't bear it much longer. My head would still be my 18-year-old head. As the dispute heats up, it's apparent that Jordan Peterson's continuous probing is starting to get to Bill Maher's strong sentiments are nothing new to either side. But Peterson dominates this discourse with his laser-like attention and provocative questions, making it hard for Maher to keep the subject under control. Is evident that Peterson gains the upper hand in this intense back and forth.
I don't make that. I mean, I'm sure people would say, oh, Bill, you said this the other week, and I meant it, and it wasn't horrible.
Well, frequency and intensity also matter.
Also, I'm mixing dangerous chemicals every week, okay? I'm playing third base okay? I'm going to get more hard-hit grounders. And, but personally, much more, even my personal life. I mean, men take a very long time to mature. I mean, when a woman says, like, boy, you need a 40-year head start. Yeah, you do. You need like a 40-year head start to be on the same level. It's just, it's crazy how immature, as society would define immature, you can be, or I was, late into life, because the immature things are the fun ones. I still don't want to give them up. People are different. We talked about this the last time you were here. We could not be more different in that way. I mean, you're so much more a woman's dream, and I'm like a woman's nightmare in many ways. Like, never committed, never got married, never wanted to. I never understood how people could, and I see so many people who talk about it, like married couples, and they talk very finely about, like, oh, remember when we were in love.
Even though he's not a fool, Bill Maher informs the audience at one point that he may as well be the student sitting next to Jordan Peterson. Peterson's meticulous, cool-headed attitude displays his brilliance. Meanwhile, Peterson's incisive analysis refutes many of Maher's problematic claims. Therefore, Maher's reactions tell a lot. Do you believe this was a takedown or debate one direction? Is the only source of friction in what began as a contest between two outstanding minds and has since swung to one side. So what do you think? Drop your thoughts in the comments section below. And if you don't want to miss out on the hottest celebrity news, make sure to subscribe to Daily Finder.